L stands for let it go. Now, this could apply to a lot of things. Sometimes it's unforgiveness. And I'm going to go out on another limb and say that I think that unforgiveness is usually tied to unhealing. If there's anything, any part of us that needs to heal, it's usually tied to the need to forgive someone. And sometimes that person is ourselves. I know for me personally, I'm the hardest person that I've had to forgive and still trying to forgive. And I know I have a list of people that I need to forgive. And really and truly, what we're doing when we don't forgive someone is we are loading up that burden and we're just carrying it around in our backs. And we don't have to. In fact, we shouldn't. We need to let it go. So sometimes it's not unforgiveness. Sometimes it's trauma or abuse. And, those things too, that requires another level of forgiveness. But that trauma and that abuse, it really affects our lives. And it tells us a story that we interpret to mean something that it doesn't actually mean. And so the power of laying that down and letting it go so that it can no longer affect us is just so, so powerful. So what is it that you need to let go of? Or who do you need to forgive? And the thing is, and this is such a beautiful thing about the way that our minds and our souls and our spirits work, is that I guarantee you that whatever that thing is that you need to let go of, it's already been kind of gnawing on you, right? At the back of your mind. You know what it is that you need to let go of. And frankly, it's a muscle. Just like if you were to do bicep curls, it is a muscle that must be exercised. If you've read the book, you've read the story, but I went through a time in my life where I had to forgive someone that was very close to me. And it took me a long time. It wasn't just, okay, today I choose to forgive this person and it's done. That's not how it happened. Because sometimes this trauma and the abuse and just different situations that we go through in life make it so, so hard to forgive. So it's not a flip of a switch. It's a daily, and that's exactly what I did. Every single day I said, I choose to forgive this person. In fact, I am grateful for the way that they treated me because it created part of my story. It created me for who I am. And I said that every day, every day, every day, every day. And then one day, as I was saying it, I realized that it was done and that it was true. And I was no longer just saying it. I was no longer making the choice, but that all this time of saying it again and again and again and again, I had just created a new muscle memory, a new grain in the brain, if you will. And so dig deep. What is it that you need to let go of? Or who is it that you need to forgive? And don't have this expectation on yourself that you're just going to wake up tomorrow and decide to forgive this person or choose to let go of your anger issue, for example, and it's going to be gone. That's not the case. But if you make that decision and if you start to work that muscle, then the muscle memory will be there and you will eventually see that you have let it go. The Bible tells us very plainly that in order to be forgiven, we must forgive. And the Lord's Prayer, that is part of it. Forgive me of my sins and help me to forgive those that have sinned against me. It's very, very clear, very black and white. The other thing that's very clear is God tells us to lay down our burdens and to give them to Him. And so letting go is not just a mindful thing to say in the morning, but it is a beautiful acknowledgement of our God and part of what He offers to us as being His children. So when we think about forgiveness, when we think about it that way, it adds a different layer to it, does it not? When we think about that we cannot be forgiven unless we forgive, how horrible would it be to pass up on our own forgiveness because we were not able to forgive someone else? And the thing about forgiveness that a lot of people confuse is that we are not excusing someone from what they did. We're not saying it's okay. We're not condoning it. We're not saying, okay, we can continue in this relationship, or, none of those things. Forgiveness is simply, instead of me carrying around this load, I'm simply going to take it off and lay it down. And so I encourage you to do that. And as you are thinking of what you need to let go and who you need to forgive, ask God to help you. Ask God to show you what you need to let go of. If it's not already there in the back of your mind, because that's what the Holy Spirit does, is whispers to us. If it's not already there, then ask Him, what is it that I need to let go of? And who is it that I need to forgive? And Father, give us the strength and the courage that we need to forgive those people in our lives.